Yeah, pause the record. Hold on. You should pause it until we're ready to go. But
Roll.
yeah, hopefully we'll get that link all set up. Cool.
Awesome.
Man.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for joining us again, guys. We're gonna have to post this afterwards. I had some technical issues with Zoom. I got to get sorted out there for the group, but I will post it in the group momentarily. So it looks like we are joined by Joseph as well. So Marty is joining me today. We've got a few things we're going to cover today. Some interesting posts that we've seen, some questions from the group, as well as some maintenance contract stuff. So we're going to dive into it. But Marty, first off, MTE.
Cheers, man.
Hey, cheers. Yeah, community.
Cheers.
Here we go.
What are you drinking? Community.
Me, so I have some rum, my favorite, the El Dorado, 8-year. I don't like the 5-year one, but this one I feel like it's even more special because I have this bottle that I got in Mexico, and it's just an amazing bottle. It's got these designs on it and stuff. Anyway, I pour it in there, and I feel like it gives it a little magic when it's done.
Have you gotten into those like cask and things that you can get? I know it's more for whiskey, but I know some people have done them with rum too. Have you ever cast some rum?
I haven't actually, but I've seen them in the same kind of thing. I saw online, some guy was doing, he teaches how to make cocktails, all kinds of stuff. And then he goes into, some like just straight liquors, like neat stuff like that. But yeah, he had one, and he had this other thing, I don't know, some kind of crazy like barrel type thing. And he was making his own ciders. It was pretty intense, but I saw that, and I kind of want to do it. I want to experiment, and, hopefully I don't go blind, but
I think that would be fun. No doubt.
Yeah.
I'm hopping into the, you said yours was how many years? 10?
8 years. 8 years.
8 years. Mine's like, I think 6 months, right? I'm hopping into the captain.
Nice. Yeah. 6 months. It was last weekend, actually.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, nice though. Yeah, but you can always count on the captain. You know what I mean?
I agree, man. I agree. I actually used to, as we've talked before, I used to drink a lot of rum myself. I switched to whiskey. Honestly, because of depression, like whiskey's like a deep downer drink. Like it's a hardcore, like I want to sit there and like chew on things, like, and so I just started drinking whiskey because it just seemed to fit my moods more. And
fair enough. Yeah.
I'm glad to over the past couple months, I've been starting to drink more rum again. I enjoy it. I don't hardly drink any whiskey anymore. So that's
fantastic. It's rum's more of a upbeat kind of, for me, I find same thing. Yeah. But the whiskey, I'll have the occasional glass here and there, if I'm gifted a bottle or something like that, or if I'm just feeling, in a different mood. But every time I think about whiskey, I think the same thing about changing in your mood. And I always remember that joke about what happens when you play a country song backwards. It's well, you get your wife back, your dog back, your car back. All the songs are about losing all that shit.
Yeah, no doubt. George Strait was one of my all-time favorite artists, and I had to stop listening to him so much too. It's like, you're right. Like it's always, there's just some fun songs. I like Kenny Chesney. Kenny Chesney usually has a little bit more of that beachy vibe, and he has some really great songs about being at the beach. No shirt, no shoes, no service. Big.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, no shirt, no shoes, no problems.
Yeah.
Stuff like that I enjoy, but you're right, man. Country music, it is for those of you that listen, no worries. You can have bad taste in music. It's okay.
Exactly. You got it. Exactly.
Doesn't make you less of a detailer because you listen to bad music. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. You can still polish the same.
So it was funny when I had my car wash on Saturday mornings, the guys throughout the week, they would always get, they just get to listen to whatever they wanted. And the detail shop, though, on Saturday mornings, I would always turn on George Strait and that country music just to punish them. Like, right? Because I didn't work Sundays. And so I would always open Saturdays, let my assistant managers, have it off. And we would usually do, where the other owners would come in, we'd have our meeting. And so I knew that the guys were all, hungover and trashed. And so I would jam out some country
Fired
music.
up.
They hated it. It was the best.
Oh, man. You're lucky they came back the next week.
They made good money. They came back.
Yeah. See, it's a good motivator, even with bad music. See?
Definitely. But yeah, you mentioned mobile tech, man. We've been seeing quite a few posts of happenings, of things going on in mobile tech. One of the fun ones that I saw was, where's going to be the meet and greets, who's going to be hosting things, what's going to be going on. There's no doubt that when you go to expos, whether that's SEMA or mobile tech or wherever, a lot of what you gain at those shows is after the show hours, right? Like meeting people, hanging out with them, interacting. And that's what I love about what we did at the community pub. So what you've been on and what people know on our weekly Wednesday night episodes is our community pub. But it started as a community pint night, right? And we would do these pint night events at the expos and host these parties. Well, it got absorbed and adapted by mobile tech, and they wanted to bring it in, so we now have a spot, a guaranteed spot, right as you walk out of the doors on Friday. It's 5:00. Right as you walk out, we got tables all around. Listen, we blew through kegs last time in like 15 minutes. So they've like doubled. I think they might have even said tripled the amount of beer that they're going to have.
Wow.
And the cool thing though, and you'll love this, Shawn, this is what is so great about community, is at that event, it's PDR, it's window 10, everybody that's around that's inside a Mobile Tech Expo all comes, right? Except for the association, they don't come. Their own thing. But everybody else comes. And the cool part is how many people begin to match up with, oh, wait, you're in Texas? Oh, wait, you're in Florida? Oh, wait. Yeah. And we've had multiple people, separate industries, right? PDR and detailing. And they realized they were close to each other. And then what does community do best? They begin to work together.
Absolutely.
Right? And so then because they got to come out, have some free beer and enjoy some great times, they then met each other, started working together and building businesses, referring back to other and using each other. Like that 100%. To me, when I hear stuff like that, I just like, fuck yeah. Like not only have a great time, get to drink some free beer, meet everybody. But
now you're networking to make more money. Exactly. Yeah, 100%. And that's the big thing I find that a lot of people struggle with, and not just in detailing, but I've noticed it a lot of detailing since being in this industry, is that they don't cross network. Like the biggest thing is like, oh, how do you guys get customers? I'm like, how many windshield repair shops have you talked to this month? 0? That's a bad number. You know what I mean?
It's because everybody's got the secret sauce.
Yeah.
They have the secret, right? Yeah. They know the best way, and they don't want to share it. Nobody else can know how they detail. Like that's literally a thing. Like
it's true, which is hilarious because there's nothing really proprietary to any like detailing method, and there is no right or wrong way. Like sometimes my guys, run the extractor in the back seats first, then the front seat. Sometimes the front seats for and the extractors, there's no exclusivity. Like they'll sell to you, they'll sell to another guy, they'll sell to, so. Like what is it? Is it the flick of the wrist? Like what is it that's making you so exclusive that you can't help someone else out? And I think it's mainly because a lot of people feel threatened by competition. Here's the funny thing: in my area right now, there's other detail shops using OrbisX, and I don't care at all. I know it's going to help their business, but guess what? Nothing is going to replace my creativity, my go-to gusto, my energy, my drive, so they'll never beat me. I'm not even concerned. I could give them all the greatest tools and take them away from me, and still probably come out on top. Not even worried. Same thing. I wrote the book, literally the blueprint, how we started the shop, how we do our marketing, everything like that. Full disclosure, gave it away for free. It now has over 17,000 downloads. Am I concerned about even any one of them? Not at all. I'm here to help people. We all are, but I think that holding on to the secret sauce and being so concerned about what someone's doing down the road, you lose focus of where you're driving, and if you're constantly looking in your rear view, you're gonna get in a head-on collision, and the only difference is, both cases are life and death. But yeah, you just got to stay focused and try and be the best, but don't worry about it. It's funny you bring that up though. I see in the groups a lot, people talk about, stop asking questions or use the search bar or this and that. And it's like, why are you in that group if you're not there to help people? Like you can log off. You don't have to. participation is voluntary. You know what I mean? Like these groups aren't some sort of dictatorship where enrollment is mandatory. So be there to help people or just log off. Like if you already know everything, why are you in the group? You have nothing to learn, you know? So. I jumped ahead a bit here.
That's going to open up a whole can of worms, Shawn.
That's true. That's true. That's a big can. We can put the lid on that can for now. And yeah, but so okay, tell me more. MTE. So yeah, great networking opportunities.
Oh, that's it. That's all I was going to say. I mean, we say we want to talk about some things that we're seeing in the group. That's definitely that's it. That's all I want to say. I'm looking forward to everybody that's gonna meet us out there.
And you're leaving booth Wednesday, right?
Yeah, the expo starts on Friday. Education Day is on Thursday. I'll be speaking on how people can do what I did, do detailing and then create a distribution company, how you can detail and sell products. I don't know that there's another detailer that's grown a national brand of chemicals by starting to detail and sell chemicals out of their garage. So 12 years later, I get the opportunity to help coach and guide people through that journey on their own. Amazing. So using hyperClean, it's going to be a great thing, man. We're already having fun with it. So
yeah. And for those that may not know, because a lot of people do know you, Marty, and they know your line. But for those that don't know, you want to tell us a bit about hyperClean itself?
Sure. hyperClean started out of really an idea. As I began to grow my distribution company here in Oklahoma, I listened to some thoughts on having a national brand, but it wasn't until I listened to, I don't know if you've listened to him, Gary Vaynerchuk.
Oh, of course.
And he had in 2017, he had what's called the 2017 Flip Challenge. And the idea was to take something, buy it, and then flip it. Of course, he's talking to people that really hadn't really been in business much, but by that time, it'd been about 15 or 16 years for me. And so I went, you know what? I want to look around the industry and see if there's something that I can piece into the market that is being underserviced, buy and flip, right? Create an avenue to sell something. And for me, that was, I created what was called Max the Jeweler, because at that time, we really only had about 5 companies selling DA polishers. Now, my little process of testing and finding and creating and doing everything took a bit longer than I wanted to. And once we finally released it, there was multiple other brands that had also seen the same thing. I was just happened to be the small little guy from Tulsa, Oklahoma, competing against global brands. And actually at MTE was when I sold my first polisher. And there was a global brand that got pissed off because I sold it literally with a influencer that I'd hired from Instagram. Sold it literally right by their booth, and they got so mad that this guy had bought my polisher instead of theirs that they had me kicked out of the expo.
No, that's crazy. Congratulations on your end, but
blood in the water.
Yeah,
blood in the fucking water. So as a shark, I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Why would you even mess with me?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a reason.
Yeah.
The reason became an opportunity. And so as I began to sell those, I was like, you know what? I got to have more than a polisher. How do I do chemicals? Well, the big problem with shipping chemicals is they come in such large, big containers.
Expensive, terrible for the environment.
Expensive to do everything, right? I mean, what does a 5-gallon of chemical cost? Well over $100 many times. If not 75 to 80 if you buy it off the guy with the box truck.
And part of the problem with shipping is the heavier something is, the more variable the pricing, because it's more impacted by, the price, customs, more impacted by the cost of freight, everything like that. So, yeah.
So what I did is I also am a little bit of a tree hugger, a little bit of a hippie, but I'm a hippie from Oklahoma. So that's, it's not a California hippie. Hippies from Oklahoma were, we like the earth. I don't know. I mean, we don't hug trees. We actually cut them down and we dig oil out of the ground. So, there's some levels to our hippiness, but for the most part, if this is the world we were given to live in by a creator, then by God, I should probably do my part to take care of his creation as I can.
And we've only got one, you know, like,
yeah.
In terms of like spatial real estate, you know, like they're not selling property on Mars right now. So,
right.
you know,
like my mom said, there's no planet B.
Yeah, exactly. That's clever.
So another massive thing that I started seeing was the amount of plastics that our industry wastes. Yeah. And so our hyperClean, that was the name I gave it, hyperClean ultra concentrates. We were the first company to ship out product in a bag. So we took the water out of the product, put it into a bag form. Water is just simply a binding agent. So every product that you're going to use has water. It's not a matter of if they do or don't. It's just water binds products. That's what it's used for. And so if you take it out, then you got to put it back in. And so what we do is we take that bag and we pour it into a 5-gallon cube. You fill it up with water and boom, you got a concentrate. And that 5 gallons only cost you $40. So, you know, we massively, because I can ship it a lot less. I've run my business much more efficient than other people because I'm a true entrepreneur that's running a business that started out of their garage, right? You know, you have checkpoints that you got to make. And so, listen, we created something that nobody else had, and it really took us off in the industry. Pints and Polishing Podcast created, and out of that, I got a partner. I got Nick. He started listening to the episodes, and then we would talk, and then he started joining the episodes, and then he's like, how do I invest in? How do I become part of hyperClean? And he's been a massive help with, as you know, awesome. From we've talking, you know, the way my mind works like this, he's that structure. He's the guy. I mean, listen, he's an incredible, we call ourselves yin and yang. I mean, he's who I'm not, and I'm who he's not. So, you know, we
and that's necessary, you know, you need that. Absolutely. Yeah.
And we're progressing through the industry with products else that nobody has. You know, our slick, as you've used, is it's pure silica.
It's on my truck right now.
Pure silica. Everybody else has sprays that have scents and fragrances and all these dyes in it, and they smear, and you have to keep wiping the paint and grabbing another towel. And no, spray, wipe, and go. I mean, it's beautiful. So we're going to keep coming out with stuff like that. We're releasing our wheel and tire. Our wheel cleaner, that's also an iron decon. We're releasing that at Mobile Tech this week. Excited about that. It's called Fuego.
Oh, nice. Love it. Yeah. Okay.
So that's us at hyperClean, man. Anybody can go check us out at hypercleanstore.com. It's a new website that is up, or, you know, come be a part of us at the hyperClean specialist group.
Yeah. Now, if someone wants to become a distributor as well, they just speak with you directly.
Yeah. Reach out to me. We've got multiple opportunities. You know, however, we make it very easy for people to get into. If they see the, basically what we do is we ask people, say, hey, what do you see in your area? You think you can sell some product? How do you think you can do it? How can we help you? And we walk together with them so that they can start that opportunity. If they see it and if they think they can do it, as you know, Shawn, it's really so much about here and here. And if you,
100%.
If you can see it, and if you got the drive, that's the people we want to work with.
100%. Yeah. Cause there's two ways. What I like about these kinds of, you know, deals that these detailers can get into is that in your neighborhood or your area, wherever you're working, you're going to be able to get, you know, however many cars done you can with your current capacity. But these kinds of opportunities, distributorships and so on and so forth, offer you alternative sources of income that are still in your industry. And it's a great opportunity for you to reach out to other shops, like, you know, shops that maybe are doing stuff that you're doing, but also window tinting, other things. So you can start to form partnerships and say, hey, listen, I'll handle some of your overflow. And by the way, here's a, you know, free gallon of this to try out, something like that. And you might be like, oh, well, geez, yeah, but then I'm giving away whatever it costs. You give away a little thing like that, they're going to try it out, love the product. Next thing you know, they're ordering from you every week. It's going to pay itself over 1,000 times. So this is a great way, though, during those slow months, you can kind of, you know, supplement your income as well.
And, you know, we hope, right? This is me throwing you on the hot seat. We hope that one day the Detail Supply app will be able to be linked in with OrbisX, which is how you and I began to start talking.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that is actually closer to reality than you think, actually, because I've been working on stuff in the background. I got a few more pieces of other things I'm launching first. Once those are done, though, that's everyone's going to be able to do two things. One, I'll give away some info, but one, they're going to be able to order directly through the app. auto order, things like that. But the other thing, Marty, I don't know if you saw this, but I posted in the group, I'm going to be changing up the referral program side of things slightly so that instead of just a one-to-one, like refer someone, you get a free, like more free time. This way they could actually apply it to products. And the reason I think that's important is two reasons. One is that there should be an opportunity where someone is forced to try a new product. And part of that is that if they earn, membership rewards, for example, through using the software, there's going to be bonuses where just for using the software, not even for referring people, things like that, but, oh, you logged in 50 times this month. Oh, you booked an extra 20 appointments, stuff like that. What we're going to do is actually award them with a new product that they've never used before. And so it's important because you have to constantly evolve in your business. And people I find get locked into, oh, well, we do things this way, this way, this way. And then 3 years go by and nothing really has changed with your product lineup or anything. It could even be within the same company. You're just constantly ordering the same stuff, but companies always improve their products. And like you've got a great product line now, but you're constantly adding stuff to it. If I just keep reordering the same stuff, you're going to fulfill my order, right? But if I'm not checking out the new products, then that can also be detrimental to my business too. So I'm really excited for this. No other CRM has even thought of this. Obviously they haven't, because they don't think of most things. But anyway, that's another can of worms that we'll put the lid on. But yeah, so I'm really excited for that. And obviously your product lineup is going to be in there for people to try out, because there are great products there. And like at our shop, for example, like we do use products from different vendors, and sometimes even the same type of product. So we'll use a glass coating from 3 different companies, things like that, because they each work slightly different ways, or they come at slightly different price points. So sometimes we even stock stuff from Amazon, because if we make a mistake on something or forget something, we can throw that in as a bonus for the customer, but we're not necessarily giving away our top shelf stuff, right? So there's bonuses there. I'm excited for the program. It's going to be great. And yes, the ordering will be coming soon as well. Yeah. 2022 is going to be busy. That's for sure. Absolutely. So posts that you've seen in groups, seen anything
for you?
exciting?
For me, it was the mobile tech. What about you?
Okay. So for me, I've seen a lot of public service announcements lately, as I was mentioning with you before. Yeah. A lot of people that are giving their kind of feedback, I guess, to newbies. So me, I pride myself in helping everyone on their journey, regardless if they've been detailing for 12 years or they've been detailing for 12 days. I look at them both the same most of the time, because a lot of the times what I've seen is someone's doing something for 12 years the wrong way. So it doesn't mean that your 12 years doesn't necessarily impress me any more than a guy who's 12 days in, because he might come in and do it the right way. I remember I was alive when Yahoo was the top search engine. And I've never used Yahoo to search for anything since my kids have been born, so it doesn't.
Can you believe my dad, all the way up until he died, he was using Yahoo and still paid to use AOL.
No way. Oh my God. Do you remember those discs they used to send you? You'd be like, you get 3 months free. You're kidding. That's insane. Wow. Jeez.
Like, Dad, there's so many other ways you can do that. But
yeah, there really are. Oh my God, that's insane. But it's a common thing. So many people, they get, stuck in a way of doing things, and then all of a sudden their way is best because that's the way they've done it. It's the same with like the CRM world. If I'll give myself a shameless plug, is that, OrbisX was new to the industry. These other CRMs were around for a while. They were just doing things in a shitty way. And I tried them out for our business. And I was like, this is absolute trash. I can't even believe that people have the audacity to recommend this to somebody else. It was just crazy. And so introduce OrbisX, game has changed. People are now realizing it. They're coming over in droves. And it's just the natural evolution of things. And the early adopters, some guys signed on to OrbisX when I was giving away like even longer trials than I am now. And the price was like nothing, and I'm honoring that price still because they signed up in the beginning. They supported from day one, but they took the chance to try something different. And I find that the only way we can grow as a community is by helping each other out and sharing little tips and tricks instead of scolding people. And if you're there just to do that, honestly, just leave. Like if you find a group is too negative or toxic, you can leave. Like the door is open. You know what I mean? So coming in and posting this and that. Now, granted, I do think that every discussion warrants a debate of some kind. So it's okay to converse about things, share ideas. That's how we grow together. But coming in and saying, like, these public service announcements where it's like, please guys, use the search bar first. Like, you're making a lot of assumptions that maybe they didn't do that already, but the information they found is 3 years old. Maybe they want something from today, So just take 2 seconds, answer the guy's question, and you're going to answer it 100 times. Say lovey, how many times people are going to call your shop, ask you the same question? Are you going to tell them, listen, I posted it in my blog, go read my blog? Like, what the fuck? That customer, you might as well just kiss him goodbye, because he's on his way to my shop.
Yeah, like you said, if you don't care to help people, just don't respond. I mean, people have probably seen me in the groups, right? Like, I try and do my best to go get involved. I like to leave comments because there are some people with some serious questions. And plus two, listen, I tell people to do it for marketing reasons. And so in order to do it, you got to spend the time answering questions. That's 100%. Just what it is. Now, should a detailer go spend time answering other detailers' questions? I'm going to say no.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
Should be in other Facebook groups that are local that they can answer questions from people that might be their customers.
100%.
But if you do choose to be in a Facebook group with other detailers and they ask stupid questions, I agree with you, Shawn. Just keep scrolling.
Exactly.
You don't have to spend time answering stupid questions.
Exactly. And the funny part too is when they do answer the stupid questions, Facebook doesn't know what your answer was. They just assume that you answered that, so you engaged. So now you want to see more of that content. So I don't see a lot of these newbie questions when I scroll, to be honest, because I don't engage in a lot of them. So I don't see them that often. But if you engage in them, next thing you know, your whole timeline's flooded with, what kind of vacuum do you recommend? Now you're upset, but you did it to yourself. And so it's just don't bother, or if you're answering that question enough, you know what you should be doing? Selling fucking vacuums.
There you go. Yeah. Speaking of vacuums, who's going to come out with the private labeled vacuum to compete with that Hart vacuum that, goddamn, through the groups, they must have sold 100,000 units.
Oh, man. I know. Did you see that? That was crazy. Yeah. Oh, my God. I remember that. We talked about that, you and me and Greg, a while back. Yeah. That was insane. But see, look, someone could be selling that vacuum. How many times do you see, like, what's the best APC to use? If I didn't sell APC and I keep seeing these and they're frustrating me, I'm going to sell APC. And then it's going to be sold to those people. You know what I mean? Like, it just makes sense. So, or just scroll, like literally a flick of the wrist, it's gone, but yeah, so I've seen a lot of those in groups lately. And that's one thing that spurred me to want to start the OrbisX group, is that it wasn't even to help people so much with the software, because most people just figure it out. There's tons of training I give them, the videos and stuff. It's mostly to provide some real content. Like right now, yes, I'm answering a lot of questions. How do I do this, do that? Sure. But by and large, my plan is to do, content like this, where we have these engaging discussions to actually help people. Because, what kind of vacuum do I get? Man, maybe someone does need some genuine help. And if you're in that group, offer a lending hand, but maybe that person is going to become super successful, learn some shit. You're going to ask a question, and 2 years later, they're going to answer your question. Like, who knows? Or maybe they even have a customer that flew into Texas for the weekend, got their car detailed, and he's like, actually, I live, in Oklahoma. You're like, oh, great. You know what? I know Marty down there. He could actually help you out when you're back in town. You never know who you're talking to. So you might as well just nurture relationships or just stay out of it. But anyway, that's my rant about the posts I've seen.
All right, so I know we wanted to talk a little bit today about maintenance, right?
Maintenance, yeah.
So when thinking about maintenance, how does OrbisX help? What's something that OrbisX does that's good for people that are wanting to get into maintenance?
Yeah, great question. And that was something that someone had brought up in the groups too. Not so much as a question, but they were asking about maintenance contracts, who does them. So OrbisX does a few things to help with maintenance contracts, like recurring events. And you can do crazy type scheduling too. It's not just, this recurs once a month or something. You can literally do things like this happens every third Friday of the month, like weird things like that. It could be, it happens every second Wednesday and Friday or whatever. There's tons of different options because customers need that flexibility sometimes. Now, that's part one, is scheduling the actual event, but you can also automatically, bill your clients as well, which is important. So if you go under your finances tab, invoices, create a new invoice for the customer, you can actually set that up to recur automatically. Now, one great thing to do is just not to set it up forever. And this is a cool feature that, some people don't know exists, but you can actually limit the number of recurring invoices that get sent out. So a common thing we do at our shop is 12 months of like a VIP type program where they come every Friday, they get a certain type of service done. And what we do is we set that up to bill them weekly. We set that up as a recurring event weekly, but the billing is done monthly. And we just set it to 12 for the number of instances. So they pay $100 a month, they get 12 invoices throughout the year, it automatically charges their card, and they just book online and they come in every Friday. So that's something that's really helpful. If you go to finances, invoices, and when making an invoice, under additional options, you'll see recurring. Click that and you can choose, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, things like that. And then you can actually set the number of occurrences. The reason that's important is so that after a year, you can set yourself a reminder to follow up with them, because your prices should be changing. They should not stay the same. New calendar year is rolled over, and I tell you what, everything else is going up in price. So make sure that you adjust your prices accordingly as well. So that's what we do for our recurring clients, which are our maintenance clients. But on that note as well, we also set up basically a package specific for that. And then within our automated inventory tracking, that's where we can set up things like, we're going to use this much slick for each appointment or something like that from hyperClean. So we set that up in our inventory. Every time that event happens, as soon as we're completed the job, we just click complete. It automatically calculates our usage, and then we can adjust that if we, needed to use more or less of a particular product. And then it factors into our profit loss and then also our expenses as well. So those are some cool things with maintenance stuff. But Marty, I know you love maintenance contracts as well. So let's try, because it's a good source of recurring revenue. You can help project your future, keep things going, and clients, when you give them a certain price that might be cheaper in the summertime, it keeps you busy in the wintertime as well. So they're paying sort of a fixed rate and it's spread out throughout the year. But that being said, Marty, what would you classify as a maintenance detail? Like, do you include everything you normally do?
Absolutely not.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. Okay.
You're right, man. I absolutely love maintenance. In 16, 17, and 18, like I said, when I started getting out into the national scene, what was so popular at that time was full 4 or 5 layers of coating, all this correction, get a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 ticket, and peace. Mm-hmm. Thanks so much for your business, customer. Have a great life.
See you never.
Yeah, see you never. And we began saying, and it's interesting to see who did and who didn't, because multiple of the people that were massively big during those high times of very large fat economy where people had way more than normal, well, they pissed off an opportunity to have an incredible maintenance business now, which we've seen over the past year plus of some of these companies that realized they made a mistake, have tried to adapt, shift gears, and now have created some maintenance because they realize how much they were leaving out of their door and never seeing again.
100%.
The reason why I love maintenance, Shawn, is because in 2002, when I started my detailing business, I have customers that we cleaned this past weekend that are the same exact people.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah.
When you think of like business, just think of a business. Like, do you want to always be hunting or do you like to gather? Like
100%.
You need both. You do.
Yeah, it's true.
For a business to sustain itself, we're now going on 2002 to 2022. I mean, it's a good run,
Absolutely.
A pretty damn good run.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that, you can't always be hunting. You have to have a core foundation that every month, every week, however you do it, I got this revenue coming in. Some of the biggest things that we've seen that you've probably seen is the car washes that do monthly maintenance where they can come in and just wash their car as many times as they want. Right.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the Easy Pass, those kinds of things are huge.
That first day, right? That first day that money hits their bank account, their entire month is covered in one day.
Wow. Jeez. Yeah.
So what's the benefit of maintenance? Fuck. It's to be able to run your business the best, most profitable way. I don't understand why people have never, I mean, it's always been confusing to me why people don't do maintenance. The best way that we here at hyperClean love maintenance is, listen, you go through, you wash the car, you clay it, polish it if you need to, put on a 1, 2, 3-year coating, uno, dos, and tre, come back every week, every other week if you have to wait that long, wash it, reapply Slick. HyperClean Slick is the perfect maintenance spray to put on as a drying aid. It's going to increase the longevity of a coating, as well as just if you got a customer that they just want their car looking nice, looking shiny, looking clean. Listen, Slick's you put that on every other week. Listen, it's going to be shiny, clean, and it's going to be popping. You will have zero issues. Zero. Put it on as a drying aid. Use a twist dry towel. Dry the car. Listen, you're saving time, and that car is going to pop. Maintenance for me is the number one way to grow your business. Absolutely. And
100%.
I have inside just kind of giggled and laughed at people that have argued with me and told me that, no, you got to do this, no, maintenance. You maintain 100%. Your customer, you take care of your customer, and those customers will stay with you 20 plus years.
100%. 100%. And the work is easier too, because you're constantly seeing the same vehicle. Yeah. It doesn't get too dirty between visits.
Is it easy to train, right? In order to scale, you got to train people, correct?
Yeah, 100%.
Is it easy to train people how to wash, vacuum, clean some wheels, or do paint correction and put on a coating? Which one's easier to scale?
Obviously, first one, 100%. Yeah. And that's what you're going to have a higher turnover at times with those kind of employees, but there's millions of those kinds of employees out there. And the thing is that the time to train them is so minimal. Like these guys literally train themselves right now on YouTube. So just think, like, it's not going to take much to get some people to do that kind of work. So that's where you can have a constant, flow of people. And what we do is we just we have kind of like a weekly bulge where the start of the week, it's regular appointments. As it gets towards the end of the week, that's where a lot of people want, they drove their car to work and back all week. It got dirty, so on and so forth. They want to come in Friday, get it ready for the weekend where they're going to spend time in it with their family. Because when they're alone in the car driving to work, they usually don't care, unless they're an Uber driver. But the weekend, they're taking out their family or something like that. They want the car to look nice. That's where we find it's the easiest ones. And they don't even, they're less picky because they're coming so often. If something isn't 100% perfect or whatever, they're like, I'll deal with it next week. Whereas the guy that comes, once every 6 months, he wants his car to look showroom ready, even if he's not paying showroom prices, So that's where, the maintenance stuff can really help, but also just with projecting your inventory usage, your staffing, just so many logistics become easier when you know what's coming in, kind of thing. If you have a shop and you've got multiple bays, that's the time to dedicate one bay just to maintenance stuff, where it's in and out, make everything really efficient for those type of cleans, pump them in and out. That's what I recommend. But the biggest thing too, Marty, 2002 to 2022, how many referrals would have come from those clients as well?
I shared a story on the Pints and Polishing podcast a couple of weeks ago about where the question was, and it was on the community pub. So anybody that wants to come hang out on the community pub, it's every Wednesday night. Yeah, community, 7:30 Central, Zoom IDs 918-800-1188. And we had this discussion, I had a question. And the cool part was, well, as you begin to grow, right? As you continue to move forward, well, how does it overall, how do you gain these type of customers, right? Like, how do you get a high profile, influential, how do you get those big dog people that are going to let you clean their car at $75 a pop every week? And they might have 3 or 4, right? You're there for 2 hours and you make, geez, what do you make in 2 hours off of 4 cars? $75 a pop.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not that great at math, but I think it's pretty good ratio per hour.
Yeah. You're making like
so
350, 400, depending.
Yeah. How do you gain these influential customers? And that's exactly right. You gain them by the referrals. As I would be in these exclusive gated communities, somebody that's walking their dog that might see you cleaning, just say hi, About month number 2, they're going to end up going, so, and you go, yep, right. I ended up at one time with, I think 6 or 7 houses in this like 15 house community, right? One of those exclusive, massive, here, a $2 or $3 million home is enormous here. I get it in California. It's like a 2,000 square foot shack, but
it's a studio apartment.
Yeah. Here in Oklahoma, $3 or $4 million house it's a gigantic mansion. So, those people talk to each other. And as you begin to meet them, you begin to say hi to them, you're properly dressed, you're professional. True. You don't try and always sell them and hit them with shit that they don't need. You handle their account, you work with them, you make life easy for them. Yeah. The referrals just continue to go and go and go.
True.
Right.
Yeah. And it's funny too. You brought up a good point that I think a lot of people don't factor in, is that they think that it's only like wealthy people that know wealthy people, but wealthy people have people that work for them, or they have, other people that they can also be your gateway in. And the reason I bring this up is we had a guy and he was coming to us. He was coming every 2 weeks to get his car maintained. Old car. I think it was 2004 Tercel or something. It was like, anyway, the thing had it was falling apart. But the guy came all the time and he just liked his interior done. He wanted to clean. He took good care of it, to be honest, for its age. But that being said, it was just an old car. Anyways, the guy came in and he was like a courier or something, but not for a courier company. He just he'd get groceries for people, stuff like that. So we worked a lot with seniors' homes, things like that. Anyway, we treated him really well. And he told me one time, he says, I was actually working there with my wife in the beginning. And he said, every time I come in here, you treat me like I'm a millionaire, And I said, well, listen, I don't care who you are. You put your pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else. And he said, I got someone that I think I could introduce you to. I was like, all right, cool. Brings the guy in, and the guy's like, yeah, I wanted to know if you could take care of my cars. I was like, yeah, no problem. He just looked like a regular guy too. It's like, what's the first car you want to start with? He's like, a Lotus. First one that was ever in Canada. Yellow. I was like, oh man, sure, bring it in, So he brings it in. He's got 2 Ferraris and a bunch of other stuff. He does training for people at the track. Anyway, really cool guy. And he invented the software that if you go and you get your teeth x-rayed or anything like that, he's the guy that helped make the software that takes care of those records. And he just looked like a regular guy, but I met him through the guy that does his courier stuff for groceries, stuff like that. But so you never know who you're talking to, but the referrals, that's what it's all about. And that leads to big contracts, So we ended up dealing with him now for two and a half years. We've only been open 2.5 years, but it's, it's one of those things that met him early on in the beginning. And it's just because this guy that I was treating well, he was coming in, he was a maintenance client, he referred this other guy, and that's how it goes with your referrals. The referrals cost you nothing except just doing your job well. So it's all the other stuff that costs you money. Getting new customers, the hunting, as you mentioned, Marty, that if just imagine if you had to actually go hunt, literally. You've got to, prep your weapons, you got to run out in the forest, you spend the whole day. You might come home hungry, right? Versus if you're just gathering, you're nurturing that tree that's in your yard and you're just plucking fruit off. That's literally what's happening. And so the energy level is a lot different. The cost is a lot different. Not everything has to equate to, Facebook or Google ads. In the beginning, sure, you got to get the plane off the ground, but every customer you get, nurture those relationships for referrals, 100%. Actually, that's another good thing that OrbisX does as well, is after every appointment, it will ask for referrals as well. And it doesn't do it just once. So when you have these maintenance contracts, every time they come in, it's going to wait a few days. It's going to see maybe it's asked them too many times if they're coming every week, but the AI does a really good job of determining when to ask. It'll reach out and ask for 2 to 3 referrals every time. And it does it in a really cool way as well. So it's, the messages are strategic, the way they're designed to get them to, plays on their emotions of wanting to help, the whole philanthropic stuff, people wanting to give back. So it's one of those things where your maintenance clients, just by using OrbisX, will actually generate more maintenance clients, which then generates more maintenance. No, that cycle could go on forever. But yeah,
but it's true. And if somebody really wants to look in the mirror and decide where they want to be in 20 years, do they want to be the guy still holding the polisher?
The answer should be no. The answer should be no, because your body's not going to last forever. Your mind's not going to last forever. Just your temperament and your passion is going to change over time. You're going to become less passionate if you're just constantly doing the same thing. You get almost like scarred and jaded, when you're dealing with customers. This question again, how do you polish a car? Like, it's that kind of stuff. You get jaded. So you don't want to be working your business forever. You want to hire other people. That should be the goal. Have them make money. I would rather make 1% off someone else's back than 100% off my own every time, And so I think that's in the beginning. Sure, if you're passionate about it, it's fun, whatever. If you're doing it for a hobby, hey, keep doing your thing. If you're having fun, but if you want to run it as a business, the goal should be employees.
Exactly right. So that's where OrbisX and hyperClean share the joint sort of like mindset in a sense.
100%.
I think we both value definitely value what that is.
Absolutely. So, okay, good stuff. I think this was a good chat this week. Yeah, it's funny. When we were planning out sort of, what are we going to talk about? What questions we got, things like that. I was like, maintenance contracts. Yeah, we can talk about maintenance contracts, but we need more substance. But once you start diving into it, there's actually a lot to go on there.
Yeah, there's plenty more on maintenance that we could go, and we'll save that for another time. You're right.
100%. Well, man, I'm looking forward to hearing about your journey on Wednesday. Your trip once you're back. You're back Sunday, so okay, Tuesday we'll be able to chat it up a bit, share some stories. Yeah, if you're not still hungover, in the afternoon. Yeah, good stuff. So, all right, cool. Well, listen, safe trip. You're flying down, right?
Yeah.
All right, safe flight, definitely.
Flying out tomorrow morning.
Right on. It's amazing, man. Enjoy.
Right
I wish I could, if the borders weren't closed and everything for us right now. This Omicron stuff is really putting a damper on a lot of plans, but anyway, next year. 100%. Yeah.
Well, have me up on stage. That's what's cool about the podcast at Mobile Tech is we're up on stage. We got a speaker, we're recording, but it's live. We got tables out, we're giving away beer. It's a pub.
That's amazing.
Every major person that has a thought in the industry is excited about being up on stage to have discussions with us, which is cool. So we're excited.
Right on. That's gonna be amazing. And is it gonna be streamed for people as well, or not so much?
We're gonna try and attempt, but in expos with Wi-Fi and everything, it's just I don't know, man. That's why it's mostly alive. We'll record it, but with all the background noise, I'm gonna do my best. I've got I've got a board that I'll be able to dial it in the best I can, but it's hard to get all that background noise out. So
100%.
We'll record it, but if it doesn't come out super clean, we won't put it out. It'll be mostly for people that are there live to listen.
Perfect. Yeah, I just wasn't sure if there was a link to share with people or something, but no, that makes total sense. Yeah. So, well, I will see you in 2023 there, 100%. But yeah, this year unfortunately couldn't make it. But what can you do? It's pandemic. Anyway. That's another can of worms that we'll put the lid on as well. So awesome. Listen, Marty, thanks for your time. Appreciate it as always. Great information. So guys, once again, if you want to check out some of the products with hyperClean, where do they go?
hypercleanstore.com or hyperClean store on any of the social apps, any social.
Everywhere and anywhere. Beautiful. Good stuff. Definitely check out Slick. I've got it on my truck right now. It's wicked. And it was actually one of my guys, Bobby. I brought my car in just because a bird pooped on the top and I didn't want it there anymore. So I had to pass by the shop anyways, drop off some stuff. And he was like, oh, Shawn, before you leave, he said, just go have a coffee. He said, just give me 15 minutes. Okay. I was like, okay, sure. So I was like, well, what's going on? And then Paul was like, oh, he wants to test out that stuff on you. He said he's just fallen in love with it, So I was like, oh, really? And that's where he had 2 of the gallon jugs. And then I went and I shook one of them and it was at the bottom. I'm like, how the hell did he go through this shit so fast? Paul was like, he's using it on every car. He's like, they love it. Jesus. Yeah, it's crazy. So, but yeah, so it's good stuff. So check that out. Definitely. hyperClean, you'll be able to find it there. And soon it'll be in the OrbisX reward store as well as ability to purchase through the app as well.
Cool, man.
Awesome. Good
We'll
stuff.
see you next week.
All
Enjoy
right, see you next week.
enjoy your weekend, and I'll be thinking of you while I'm in the sunny state drinking cold beer and having some cigars and seeing some palm trees. I'm excited.
Thanks, Marty. I appreciate that. Yeah, now I'm gonna go have some whiskey and listen to some country music. Much appreciated. All right, man. We'll see you next week. Okay.
Yeah.